Thank you all for tuning in to Real Talk with Steph Crosley. Today's topic is domestic violence. Domestic violence, as defined by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, is the willful intimidation, physical abuse, battery, sexual abuse, and/or abusive behaviors as part of a systematic pattern perpetrated by one intimate partner over another. Please note that that definition is not exclusive to just women. Men can be victims too. Today, we will focus on spreading awareness as it relates to domestic violence. 1 in 3 women are victims of domestic violence, and when I actually put this ask out on social media, I was amazed at the number of women who are currently going through, have been through, or know someone who have been a victim of domestic violence. Although we can't have everyone here today with us today, we do have 3 amazing women who are ready and prepared to share their stories in hopes to raise awareness. All right, ladies, ready to talk?
Yes.
Talk your truths? All right, we'll start over here with you, Shay.
Hi, I'm Shay, and I'm also a victim and a witness of domestic violence. Starting off at the age of 10, I witnessed my mother murdered by my aunt's boyfriend at the time. My aunt was in an abusive relationship from the age of 14 to I believe 30. When I was 10 years old, I was home from school and I'm going all over the place. Okay. I actually was home. I had stayed home from school one day, and my aunt was staying with us to get away from the abuse that she was going through in her relationship. My mother was at work, and I actually was there with my aunt. So I had called my mother from home. She was at work, and let her know that my aunt's boyfriend was there and was trying to get her to leave with him. So she came home and made him leave and told him that she wasn't going with him. And then he ended up coming back, and he basically let us know like either she's coming with us or she's gonna be 6 feet under, is his exact words. Not knowing what he actually had planned, because he made these type of threats all the time with our family. And he actually ended up pulling out a gun, and my mother jumped in the way. She was shot 1 time. My aunt was shot, I think 9 or 11 times. I'm not for sure the exact number. I know it was a lot. But my mother actually passed away from that 1 fatal shot. And I was 10 years old at the time. And then about, I believe I was 16 when I started dating this guy I had met. And he started abusing me within, I'll say, about a good 4 to 5 months in the relationship. And instead of letting someone know I thought it was okay, I thought it was like, okay, maybe he just liked me a lot, and maybe I was doing something. But not knowing this is a behavior that he already had before, and after the months went on, it got worse. It was physical, mental. He wouldn't want me to go hang out with my friends. He would do stuff like lock me in a room, different stuff like that. And I went through that with him for about 2 years until I was 18 years old. And then I finally had to move away from him, because at the time I was staying with him. I had left home at 14, and I had started living with him at, I believe it was 16. And that's another reason why I stayed for those years, because it was like I had nowhere to go. I didn't want to tell my family. I was kind of not getting along with my family because of some decisions I had made. Of course, I was trying to live an adult lifestyle, and I was still a teenager. So I was staying with him, and for those 2 years I endured multiple abuse, physical, mental. I almost didn't even graduate high school because it had got bad where he thought I was dealing with different guys in school, or if it wasn't, I was hiding a black eye. So I had missed a lot of days of school, so I almost didn't even graduate from school until I did what I had to do. And then at 18, when I finally was like, this is not what I want in my life, I had to literally pack up all my stuff and leave. And I did get my own apartment, but he eventually found out where I was staying, and he still was harassing me, which caused me to move to St. Louis, Missouri at 18. And then I moved away. I got away from him. But I'll say about 3 years ago, I actually ran into him, and he had apologized to me. And even though I can't take back, and he can't take back the things that he did to me, at least the apology, you know, of a lot of pain that he did cause, at least I was able to forgive. I don't recommend anyone staying in a relationship. If you're in abuse, there's multiple signs. If you're in one, let someone know and get out as soon as you can, because even though it didn't end with death with me, and even though my mother wasn't one that was in an abusive relationship, that was one of the factors that happened after my aunt was in an abusive relationship.
All right. Thank you for sharing your story, Shay. And I think you touched on so many different other elements as it relates to domestic violence and how it impacts and affects not just the two people who are in that situation. Now, you were very young at 10 and you lost your mother. May she rest in peace. And then later on you found yourself
Back in that situation.
Back in that situation. Why was it hard for you to tell someone, even if it wasn't your family? You and your family may have had difficult moments. Why was it so hard?
I think it was more of an embarrassment, and then it was more of an embarrassment, and then it was like that's at the moment it seemed like that's all I had was him. So I accepted a lot of things that wasn't okay, because it was like I wasn't talking to my family. And then it was just like, I felt like at the time, they let me leave so young instead of, you know, like, letting me, you know, disciplining me and everything. They just basically let me go. So at that time, I just was like, well, nobody cared. So I didn't care to tell anybody. Eventually, my friends eventually, you know, reached out to my guy's sister and a few of my aunt. They actually went through it, and they did try to stop it, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to leave at the time, so I just was more so embarrassed. I wouldn't admit to it. I'm just now starting to admit that I actually went through that. I'll say about 5-6 years ago, because I was like, I just never thought I would be in that situation, especially watching my aunt go through the same thing for so many years, and then to know that my mother is a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a
she suffered.
She suffered from it. So it was really embarrassing for me to know that, you know, this is one of the reasons why your mom's not here now, and then you're going through the same thing. So I was more so embarrassed.
I'm glad you touched on that, because most people will say, because my mom went, or I watched my mom be affected by this.
That's the word.
I watched my mom be affected by this, so I won't do it. But you instead was in that situation. It was hard for you to leave because of the embarrassment. I'm glad you touched on that. And then too, also another question for you. You said that it started 4 or 5 months after you guys dated. Did you see the signs within the first 4 or 5 months?
No, I didn't see the signs the first 4 months. He was sweet. I started like about 5-6 months. You know, it started getting really possessive and kind of controlling early in the 4 months. But the first 4 months, no, I didn't see anything. He was a sweet guy. I liked him. We hung. He treated me nice until I guess he reeled me in, and then that's when his true colors actually came out. And within that first, like I'll say 5 to 6 months, he got really like possessive, controlling, wanted to know my every move, where I was going. Me moving in with him so young was actually a more so of a force than actually me willing to. He kind of played on the situation that he knew, like some of the stuff that I had went through, and I think he used that as an asset to, you know, lure me in and keep me there. Basically would say, like, you know, your family don't love you, they just let you go, that's why you're here. He was very manipulative at a young age, and some of that stuff I believed. I believed, like, nobody tried to come get me, nobody tried to stop me, so I accepted it, and then it just got worse. It went from the manipulation first, and then it went to the, you know, the small yanking on me, slapping, and then it got really, really physical where I had got scared to fight back until I was like, listen, I'm not going to accept this anymore. I'm going to fight back, but fighting back sometimes makes it worse. It makes them more aggressive, makes them more angry, because a lot of time men that are abuser, they like to control you. So if you fight back or if you argue back, it makes it worse. So after trying to fight for so long, and he's a man, at the end of the day, my damage was not that much done to him. So it got worse, and then it was just like, I just remember one time, I think the icing on the cake was one time we were staying in his grandma's house on the 2nd floor, and all of my friends were coming to get me, and I was getting dressed to leave with them, and I went to go just try to leave out my room, and I couldn't get out. And then I'm like telling everybody, like, the door is locked, come let me. And he had locked me in the room with a padlock, and they were like, jump. And I just was like, I was embarrassed. And I just needed some time to, like, is this what my life is supposed to be? And it just, something clicked that day. And I remember I slowly but surely started, like, getting rid of my stuff and having my friends take some of my stuff. And so this one day I just was like, I'm out. I'm out. And it was also hard too, because I was really close with his family, and they all knew what was going on too. And they all were telling me, like, to leave, and something's not right with him, something's wrong. And that day I just was like, I'm over this. This is not right.